Okay, last week I had a chance to watch a lot of the NBL games that were on. It was a long weekend. I also had an extra day off. So it gave me a chance to really lock into some of these games. And I was most interested to watch my hometown team, the New Zealand Breakers, to see if they could break into playoff contention. And man, it was an entertaining week watching them, but they have not broken in to that playoff contention. They had two pretty good games by their standards this year that they probably should have won, and they managed to lose both of them. So it was very disappointing as a Breakers fan this past week because they made me a believer through three quarters in both games, and then they managed to blow it. Started with the game in the Ignite Cup against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They led a lot of that game. They looked good. They fought back when they got behind, but Nathan Sobey closed them out in the fourth quarter, which is sad and disappointing. And then they played another top team in the Adelaide 36ers, and it looked like they really were going to win this one. And then the 36ers chased them down in the fourth quarter, and Bryce Cotton did Bryce Cotton things and won the game with some clutch plays there at the end. And they lost that one by just 2 points. Just 2 points on the buzzer, pretty much. So the Breakers fought hard, and as a fan, I guess you have to admire that and be happy with that. They fought hard. They just didn't have it. They just haven't had it all year. They've been close, knocking on the door of playoff contention, and they just haven't had it this year for one reason or another. And I think the spotlight is going to start to shine brightly on the coach because these games were close. The players were doing their best. They've got the talent. It just seems that the coaching staff is struggling to put together the right team at the right time, especially in clutch moments in the games. They really haven't found the formula to get over the line in the fourth quarter, which they need to. Parker Jackson has kind of gone missing in the fourth quarter, which is unusual for him, I feel. I feel like he hasn't really been utilized very well in clutch moments in games. He probably should have seen more touches. That's something they probably need to address going forward because, Parker Jackson Cartwright is their most consistent scorer, and then they tend to go away from him when they really need it. And then he starts forcing up shots and turning the ball over because, there's nothing there. It seems like there's nothing really run for him. And so he's trying to overplay his hand, trying to force things, trying to get something to happen because the play that's been drawn up for them down the stretch doesn't seem to include him. So that's an issue, I think. Hopefully they learned something this year. Maybe they need to learn to sign Sam Meninga because he's been playing out of his skin. I guess they think he has some defensive deficiencies because they always seem to sub him off when it gets tight and it's, offense to defense timeouts. They seem to sub him out when it's defense. So they must have some concerns about Sam Meninga's defense. To me, he seems as good as anyone else on defense. He does foul a bit though, but over aggressive sometimes. Maybe that's what it is. I don't think this is a controversial take, but maybe it's time we had a Kiwi coach again, taking the head coaching role at the Breakers. And yeah, I'm totally biased on this because Judd Flavel is from Whangarei originally, I believe. So I'd like to see Judd Flavel take a step up and coach the Breakers as a head coach. I think he would connect better with the group than the current head coach and a lot of the support staff. So I guess that's a slightly controversial take for me. But I think Judd Flavel is my pick to take over as the New Zealand Breakers coach next year. I think he's been good. I think he's been good quality from what the way I see him interact with the players and the quality of his coaching that he's done in other places. I think he's just the right fit for that team.